Now, this video was supposed to be something completely different, but since I played the game, at this point, as I recorded this video, since I'm so far into the game, I thought I'll go ahead and call it audible and do this video instead, where I'm going to give you some of my tips on how to progress through the game. Now, as I recorded this video, I just beat Gundam Double Zeta's storyline. I still had to go through, and I'm saying this off the top of my head, Gundam X, IBO, Wish for Mercury, and did I say 00? I think I said 00. Oh, G Gundam. And I think there's one more, but I have to finish all those. Now, my account is a free-to-play account. I haven't spent any money in this game. And the reason why that's important is because this video is going to be catered more around my playthrough and my experiences. So if you need a more in-depth guide, I recommend you go check out another channel. I'm just letting you know what helped me through the game with the account that I have. Oh yeah. Lastly, I did do a little bit of research to put this together, but nothing in depth. Now, let's start off with the most important question. Who should you go for? Who should you re-roll or roll for? Now, I did have to do some research for this one. So the way I did it was I looked at different videos and looked at different tier lists. And I just looked at the ones that are consistently topping. And I just kind of put those all together in this list. So I'm only going to be talking about the best URs that you need to go for. I'm not going to cover anything else. And any URs I don't talk about, it doesn't mean that they're not good. They're just not consistently topping every list. So doesn't mean they're not bad. Doesn't mean you can't find uses for them. But this is just based on research and what I see on paper and just putting things together. And this is the list that I came up with. So the first recommendation and the best one that you could go for in the entire game, and this is number one, and this tops any tier list that you put out there that I find that everybody recommends you do, that is go for who you want and have fun. That is the number one thing that is constant across the board. So it doesn't matter what I say and who I think is great. The most important thing is that you go for the one that you want and you have fun playing this game. Doing my research, there seems to be two that always tends to top almost every list that I look at. And that is Exia and Phoenix Gundam. So I guess you could put that in an SS tier or an EX tier, whatever your top tier is. Those are the best two mobile suits in the game. Now, I can't talk about Phoenix Gundam, never used it, but I can talk about Exia. And from everything I watched, everything I've read on the internet, Exia is the number one suit that you need to go for. From my own personal experience, Exia has been a beast for me in this entire game. This mobile suit by itself has carried me through multiple stages, particularly the hard stages. I would say Exia is must pull. I got it and I'm glad I have it because it has carried me by itself. Now, these next ones are the last ones I'm going to talk about, but I would say these four are a tier under the Phoenix Gundam and the Exia Gundam. Freedom Gundam, Sazabi, Gundam Aerial, or Crossbow Gundam X1 Kai. These four right here, every single time I look at a list, they're either in the second tier or in the top tier. No matter what list I look at, these fours are always consistently topping every list or in the second tier of lists. It just depends on which one I look at. Now, these last four, I could only speak about two of them. The other two I don't really know nothing about, and I haven't really looked into them, but I'll speak on the two that I do know at least something about. The first one is Sazabi. Now, I never used Sazabi, but the reason why I want to bring him up is because they say when you start this game, you want to start off with a DPS. And the two best DPSs in the game is Exia and Sasabi, because these two mobile suits will carry you. Now again, I have Exia, and Exia is the beast, and that seems to be number one on everybody's list. But after Exia is Sasabi. So from my understanding, whether you go Sasabi or Exia, you can't go wrong. But I do recommend to at least get one of those when you're starting the game. Now, the last one I could talk about is the Freedom Gundam. And the Freedom Gundam was actually my reroll choice. And the reason why I went for the Freedom, it is because of the AoE attack. For how I like to play, that AoE attack is very important, because when the game starts, and depending on where all the enemy units are positioned, I could just go ahead and hit that AoE attack, and depending on the level, I either can clear out a field. Okay, let me clarify. Not the entire field, but a significant portion of the field. It allows my weaker units to take out stronger ones. Or it allows me to destroy enemy units upon counterattacking with my units. So the Freedom Gundam plays an important role in my strategy, and to me, I think I pretty much had the best start in the game. That's just my opinion. So yeah, that's why I would recommend get Exia, and then get any of the 5 that I mentioned, and you should be good. Now, when it comes to characters, I don't have any good recommendations for you. The only thing I could say is this, that any UR characters that you pull, those are probably the best characters in the game to go with your mobile suit, so any of those are just fine. And then the other ones I would recommend is any of the pilots, characters that you get from the G-Quicks. They're also pretty good too. Outside of that, I really can't help you. Maybe in the future, but I'm sure there's other channels that will have more information on this than I do. So now we're in with supporters, and right now, if you're looking on screen, the ships that you're seeing here, there's 3 of them, I guess are the best 3 support ships that you can get. And I'll just name them off real quick. The Frieden and the Rosebud, they're both good for EN restoration. And then the last one, which is the one I got, which I apologize because I know I'm going to butcher this name, but it is the Polymaeus or the Polymois. I don't know how to pronounce it. That one's good with HP recovery. Now, the other one that I do have is the Archangel from Gundam Seed, and that one is also good for HP recovery. But be aware, the boosts for the Archangel really only apply to Seed mobile suits. And that's one thing, make sure to look at your ships, because ships seem to only work with, unless you go with the lower rarity ships, they seem to only work with a specific kind of mobile suits. And each ship is different in that way. So make sure to look at which ships benefit what suits that you have, because that's very important for your ship selection. Now, this was recorded in April, so this can 110% change. But I would say the perfect account to start with would be either Exia or Sasabi, 2 URs, and a UR ship. If you could get a combination of those 4, I think you basically have the perfect start to this game. Now, the reason why I say that is because I currently have 2 URs, and it's been able to get me through pretty much majority of the game. But as I'm getting to the later stages and starting to get to the end game, it would be nice to have 1 more UR to help me progress, because now I'm getting to the point where I'm having a hard time 5-starring, or 4-starring hard modes. So having 1 more UR would make a difference. Now, what I said was that was the perfect start. That does not mean you need to have all of that to actually get through the game. Like I said with my account, I started with 2 URs and a UR ship. And I was able to progress through the game with some difficulties, but just fine. Actually, since I've been playing the game, I think I've only lost either 2 or 3 times. I haven't lost that much. And one of those losses was just due to my error and just not paying attention. No, my fault. There was 3. One was my error because I wasn't paying attention. The second one was auto, but I'm not going to lie. Auto does pretty good as long as you're strong enough. But I autoed a stage and I lost. And the last loss I had was simply I got cocky and I went ahead and fought a stage that I shouldn't have. And that literally comes down to just me being cocky. That's all that is. But I've been able to progress through the game just fine. It's just not as easy as I would like it. That's the only thing. Next tip, level up your URs. Focus on your URs because they're going to carry you through the game. I don't care if you have 2 or if you have 3. Don't pull too many because then you're going to have too many that you're going to have to work on and you won't have enough resources to work on all of them. Just start with 2 at the most 3 and just worry about building those up because once you get them maxed out, they're going to be able to basically by themselves get you through the game. Now, this next tip applies to various different areas of the game, but as of right now, I do have one maxed out SSR. I can tell you right now from experience, there is a gap between SSR units and UR units. Now, let me use my Freedom Gundam as the example. Now, there are 2 different variants of the Freedom Gundam. There's an SSR version and there's a UR version. And I'm going to tell you right now, the UR version definitely is better than the SSR version. There's definitely a gap between them. You don't notice it early on, but as you get further into the game, you start realizing there's a definite gap between the SSR units and the UR units. Not that the SSRs can hold their own, and you definitely can beat the game with only using SSR mobile suits, but you're going to have a harder time. I'm just going to let you know. So you're better off with just focusing with your URs and try to get them done as quick as possible, and then level up 2 or 3 SSRs over time as you play through the game. Well, let me also say this. You don't have to max out your SSRs, but you do want to have some SSRs leveled up. I will say, as long as you got one team of 5 leveled up, 2 URs, and then 3 SSRs all leveled up, you'll be perfectly fine getting through the game. Now, I know this game allows you to make 2 different teams to go into battle, but trust me, just focus on the one team. Just get 5 of your characters maxed out and you'll be able to progress through the game just fine. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail here, but honestly, just focus on one of your team comps. Once you're at the end game, then I would say probably start working on your second one. But if you're just trying to progress through the entire game, just get one of your 5s leveled up, and then the other team you could kind of sideline. And just allow them to level up as you play through the story. Develop mode. Now, this advice, learn from my mistakes. Do not go into develop mode and just start developing mobile suits all over the place, because some of these you could pick up as you play through the story. Now, unless you really want a specific unit and you want to play through the game with that unit, trust me, you're better off on saving your currency to the units that you cannot get in-game. So you don't want to just go ahead and just start spinning, developing all these units. You want to be patient, try to pick up or capture as many as you can throughout the story. That's what it's called. And then the ones that you can't capture, all you need to do is just use your currency to develop those suits. Make sure you do the tutorial missions and the beginner missions, because not only do you get currency with those, it also helps you keep yourself leveled in the game. So I recommend that you do those. This next tip, unless they're of low rarity, do not worry about upgrading your suits or leveling up your units to level 100 unless they're URs. URs are the only units you should be trying to level up to level 100. Everything else, don't worry about it right now because you're not going to have enough currency to SP convert all the units you may want to convert to a higher level. Like, it's not necessary right now at this point in the game. As new updates come out, it's probably going to be way more important, but I would say at this point in time, do not worry at all about upgrading your units or leveling up your SSR or lower rarity units to level 100. Right now, don't worry about that. Just worry about your URs and just get all the other rarities as high as possible, and you'll be just fine. Outside of your initial summons at the beginning of the game, whether it's with currency or through tickets, I would recommend after you summon for all those is to not summon at all until the next banner comes out. Unless you have a specific UR unit that you really want, I would highly recommend that you hold off from summoning until the next banner, then from there start to summon. The one thing I regret is using my ticket summons because you don't get that many of them. And as of right now, at least starting the game, there's not many chances to get more of them. So that's probably the one thing I do regret is using my ticket summons. Although it did work out because I was able to get Archangel because of it, but I wish I would have held off. So I would say don't be so quick to hit that summon button. I would say hold off and be patient until the next banner. Now again, that could change in the future, but as for April, I would say just hold off and be patient and wait for that next banner to come. One of the things that did help me progress through this game was I always tried to be level higher than the event that I was currently at. So what I mean by that is that you want to level up, of course your URs, you want to level them up, but also you want to every now and again level up any extra units that you have, like any extra SSRs that you like or think that are cool, or even SRs, it doesn't matter. But you want to make sure that your party strength for as long as possible is stronger than the area that you are at. So when you're going through the game, you're going to see something when you select a stage called recommended CP. You always want to make sure for as long as possible that that number is higher than the actual stage. Now, the reason why I said as long as possible because it will catch up. But for me, it made my time easier. Actually, one of the things that I did, which definitely made it more difficult, but it got me through Seed pretty easy, is after I beat the Seda storyline, I went ahead and did Wings before I did Seed. And don't get me wrong, it was definitely tougher doing the stages out of order and going to Wing before I did Seed. So I had a tougher time there, but due to that, I was able to level up all my units. So once I went back and did Seed, that was a breeze. So one thing I would say, and again, it's only going to happen for so long, but you want to try to keep your CP higher than the stage's CP for as long as you can. This is a big one. Make sure to pay attention to your unit's terrain. Why is that important? It's because depending on the terrain, some of your suits may be debuffed because of specific terrains, or in other cases, you can't even use that mobile suit in specific terrains. So let's say, which I had that problem, your best units can't be used in water. Well, if you have a water stage, guess what? You cannot use your best units, and now you're going to have to think of a backup plan or have a harder time to complete that stage. So my recommendation, particularly if you're going to take my advice and try to re-roll for 3 URs, make sure that final UR can cover for the terrain that your best unit cannot be utilized on. So I think that's all the tips I have for you off the top of my head. Just make sure, I would say the big thing is make sure to stack resources for that next banner. And hopefully it's something that you want. Outside of that, that's all I got for you. So I hope this video helps you out. And maybe I'll do an update of this video. Maybe in or around October and September. Just to do an update and see if anything's changed from when I started the game. But just be aware, anything I say in this video or any of these tips can change through future updates or me actually beating all the games. Like I said at the beginning, I have not got past, as recording of this video, or my fault, I just beat the Double Zeta Gundam story, so there's still more I gotta do. So once I beat the game, I might have a different opinion and may have different tips. But this is how I got through the game. These are my tips for y'all for now. And remember, everything I said here only applies to me and my playthrough. It could be different on another channel, so I do recommend you go check out other channels to get some tips from them, especially if you need a more in-depth view of things. Because everything that I said here may only apply to my account and may not apply to yours. And probably checking out other channels and different kinds of contents may give you different and maybe better strategies than what I'm saying here. So make sure to check out other channels for different information, perspectives, and different strategies on how to play this game. But beyond that, I just hope that this video helped you progress through this game. Question for y'all. Do you like my Gundam shorts? Because honestly, I love making them. But there's a problem. If you're looking on screen right there, that is my display case. And that little area is all the room I have left to store my Gundam kits. So, once that space gets filled, I will no longer be able to do any more Gundam shorts. But there is a way to save them, and you have that power. And it's very simple. All you gotta do is go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help me save Gundam shorts on this channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, help grow this channel, and help us build one of the strongest communities on the internet today. And if you're on Gundam Breaker 4 and you want a chance to be featured on this channel, why don't you go ahead and submit your build using the link down below for a chance to get your build featured in a future video on this